KT's face is black as a potass. This girl came just in time to think. It seems that this is also a predetermined action. The old man is as natural as a fly. You should drink without inviting anyone. Good wine, he kept praising. It's a pity, he sighed. The man at SAO sighed again. They still want to pretend. The old man's every move was watched. The 5 strikes. In fact, I came back because of you. He also spoke softly for me. Save the wind startled. The old man began to stare. Look closely, then close. The exile whispered. Everyone knows every time the fall season comes, the pirates came to plunder the Atlantic. But they're all small blows. But we've heard information recently. This year, the pirates came to the Atlantic. The scale will be larger than previous times. He said it as if he had just revealed some amazing information. Hands fall into meditation. He tapped him on the shoulder proudly. We can't let the year before fall into a disadvantageous situation. From where out around the old man shine the twinkling lights. This gather. I can see how thick his face is. It was as if he had no words in front of his face. In fact, what you say makes sense. He pretended to understand his story. He's also surprised by his crap. Someone who sympathizes. So he put his hands on the table. The face looks like it's waiting for the results. But if this guy had been sold to me, dead or alive, we can only accept 1,000 times. You can't let the whole board carry it. Stand up to protest. It's like not wanting to burden the brain. His face is always as rotten as autumn leaves. But that, if all of you have information about our hackers. Otherwise, please use this glass for exchange. He was holding the glass of Ra. The old man knew he was playing the trick. Angrily smashing the table. You can't say it all yet. Mina's knife. He landed on the table in front of him. The sharp knife made him suddenly wake up. He calmed down and started faking. We don't have any news about hackers. But save the office if there was no willingness to resell, so I don't bother anymore. Let's go. He quickly turned around and left. Sheets, sit down. This wine has not been drunk. A friendly smile called him to stay. You dare to play with me? He started to get angry to the top. Grinding teeth grinding, but there's nothing we can do, because this is not his territory. The Atlantic became the home of the entire paper. Afternoon sunset. The sun reflects on the desolate plain. How is father? When are we going to move back into the city? The elder son will reclaim the city. He ran out to welcome you. Lie. Jade quartz has now increased by 3 times. That fireman must be fun. What a father-son. They all have bad ambitions. The eel is the same. He rolled his eyes, straight in the face of my beloved son. It scares him blue. He sat down in the chair with a sad face. Father. But the child is now asking. I don't know what happened to you. He looked at his collection. Glittering glasses in long lines. Lots of glasses, right? I had good intentions to buy it and refuse. He still has a thick face, repeated in frustration. The boy struck across the ear like lightning. What did he refuse this boy? I'm bored. The boy spoke for his father. He looks no different than a useless incompetent. The knights didn't call all the knights. On the contrary, I want to see. Let's see how patient that exile is. A child doesn't understand. I started screaming to shame my father. Stop. Don't get excited. He banged his hand down on the table. He gave birth to a very leopard boy who had just been humiliated. And now he's trying to embarrass the whole family. It seems that the exile is not simple. The naive old man at Sao now realizes that. The boy is now beginning to become enlightened. But it's just an unclean nose-wringer. Maybe he's afraid he has 3 heads. The wicked begin to despise the talented. Not be certain, not to be rude. He is a man who has experienced. I always know that my energy is at the right place at the right time. So now I'm reminding my son. Think about how he killed the traders, food and horsemen. See, this is definitely not the way that ordinary people can think of. He began to devise arguments to study. Besides him, there is a group of guards. If you kill him now, he will betray you. His judgment is becoming more and more rational. What to do? The cake is so big. You can't lose it in your hands from there. I do not want to eat or not, the 2 fathers and sons of this house. If we don't fight him in the morning, so we fight him from the night. He seems to have devised a conspiracy. Your smile said it all. In the dark, the boy still doesn't understand what happened. That kid just came to the Atlantic. Less than a month. For the Atlantic City, there must be some places I don't understand. So we take advantage of his weakness. Take his life. He began to explain to his son. Understanding of this sinister plot. Darkness into the beam taking space. Crows filled the sky with the sound of the wind. By the names of his big iron skin. He is the head of the grass. There's also a beet head. I thought they were going to fashion shows. That's the name. Catch hands firmly around armored iron. He had a small sword on his side, but it was quite big. An army of blood from where Ra appeared. Some guys as hot as a boxing match. Enough is enough, Sao. This is the plot of the 2 fathers. The 2 are small, but there's a big army. Serving for his evil conspiracy. It's all here. The son laughed heartily. Laughing like holding in your hand 100 winds. The old man's face became more and more poisonous. How long has this been going on? 1 day, 2 days. Or 3 days. It's been a long time since we've killed anyone. The blood-stained sounds coming out of the mosquito nets of each. The evil laughter. It's starting to appear on their faces. Kill for pleasure tonight. The old man showed a cruel face. Greed has come up for you. Hearty banquet table. It's very formal and beautiful. Mina's 5 exiles. Ellie Bun and Nicole are having dinner. They ate a cup of tea together. Have a nice meal together. Today, when Nunla brought a quartz glass to save her sawn glass. Castor's face is beautiful. It is passed on by me. Ha 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 ha. Liu Feng told everyone his face was very proud. When the nun is praised, her cheeks are pink. She spoke softly. Master Ellie spoke with a blind mouth. Every day behind your ass. Help the pig eat. Eli is so frank, it's a little rough, but it's real. Ha ha. The mention of Castor reminded the nun of the incident. There was anger in her eyes. But still try to be gentle. What is there? It's because that Castor raped people too much. Smile on the outside, as in the heart of Nunla, is extremely indignant. There to occupy the facilities of Lu Fengxie himself, determined not to respond. I decided not to respond. You think anger makes none shiver. The handle of the spoon is also unlikely to drop on the table. Everyone looked up at Nicole. The air became unbearable. Mina, sitting across the room, thought to herself, "What are you doing? You can't finish holding the spoon." And he laughed in his heart and said to himself, "This girl's face is suddenly black." They say it's anger. You save the wind. Take a piece of chicken thigh and give it to the nun. Speak up to break the tense atmosphere. Although SAO, Nunla has made a big contribution today, there should be a reward. Let's eat chicken legs. Nile the jelly barrel. Pick up the delicious chicken thigh from the thigh. Thank you, young master. Nunla's father. Niu urged Niu to speak up for her daughter. Don't let your stomach shake. If you meet the young master, you'll become tense. Laughing at the wind, ha ha ha. Nicole solved many problems of the city government. Help me deal with some of my troubles. How can I stomach it? The nun is back, young lady. Moreover, Nunla is careful and meticulous. The cooking is even better. When you become a wife, you'll be blessed. He said and rubbed her head. Nunla nun, shu girl Nunla. Be saved. The young man applauded enthusiastically. I am not afraid to show my affection for you. Right now, and her emotions rise like a volcano erupting. It's obnoxious. Mina's sitting over here. The word wife is mentioned. Then suddenly I feel broken. Wife Tao. The knife in my hand was going to cut beef. That the throat naturally choked bitterly. Swallow not drift. In my eyes, only the image remains. A warm smile looking at the shy nun. Why is it so annoying? Mina stood up and put the knife down on the table. Hesitating to speak. I'm full. Then Mina left, leaving those who stayed wondering. The nun looked at the puzzled Theo. Ellie chewed the chicken thigh and said casually, "You are so beautiful, and you are on a diet." I looked at Mina's plate. It's still on the table. Guess old, guess young. I haven't eaten yet. I'm gone. It's a little different from her. There must be something. Mina goes a circuit out the balcony of the castle. The moon's glow in the bright sky. She stood alone under the moon thinking. Worried eyes. I wonder if I should go to cooking school. Mina put her hands up and watched. She shook her head and forgot everything. Hate that thought. I deserve to die for what I did. She took out a dagger in her hand to remind herself. I'm a cat warrior. My hands only know how to kill. I'm so lost in thought. The wind appeared and spoke. Then you hide the knife. Why are you here? Mina is confused. You're not interested in good food anymore. I don't even care. My face is a little worried. Mina bowed her head in denial. They have no taste, so they don't want to eat. Mina used to be a strong, straight girl. Now you're lying to yourself. It can also be hard feelings. The same mess in my heart. Mina doesn't want to eat. That, after all, it is because of the owner. The owner of the Atlantic City is trying to squeeze his brain. Find an explanation for Mina's strange behavior. Normally, people eat the most. Now say, there is no appetite fool Sao. I was thinking about the wind as if I suddenly understood something. It suddenly flashed in my head. Save Feng with a mischievous smile. Maybe it's not because I praised you earlier. He asked me how it feels right now. In fact, Mina has been with the owner for a long time. The fire near the straw has been burning for a long time. It is not right to say there is no feeling, because if there's really no feeling, then Sao gets upset when he's gentle, close to another girl. But this feeling is hard to describe. It's not just, it's the loyalty of the beast to the owner. And it doesn't just stop at the usual. Mina's interested in saving more than that. And maybe Mina's feeling a little bit of interest too. From Liu Feng. Mina became silent. I don't know how to answer the question of the devil. Mina did not answer the question and asked. Eat vinegar, then eat vinegar. This unspeakable feeling is eating Sao vinegar. I'm eating Sao vinegar. Mina asked herself. Dark and quiet space. In the forest, the rustling of falling leaves. A 2 by 4 years name appeared behind the dark grove. Whose face is that scarecrow? They are robbers of the moon. The guy with the biggest purple hair goes first. Fat white-faced bald guy with other guys. Follow behind outside the castle. The guards are on patrol. Holding a burning torch in his hand. A guard detects a noise. It's like walking by, huh? The second person felt the same way. The guard turned his head. Can you hear me? Before I finished, the scene appeared in front of me. It's scary. The guard friend came along. They were killed by strangers. With a sword through his chest. It's the brute that shows up at the top. The guard was terrified. You turned and ran away. An arrow flying through the night. Put it on the guard's neck. He fell down and lay motionless. The bandits appear on winter's day. Purple hair name ordered. Kill all the patrolmen. On the balcony of the castle. Couple male-female. Liu Feng and Mina are still rooting together. Save the storm slyly asked. It confused Mina, not knowing how to answer. I am jealous. Mina recalls the moments of memories with the wind. Pictures when I first met the wind. Sometimes we accidentally touch each other's bodies. Mina thinks she's jealous. Mina thought to herself and shook her head again. You tell yourself. Stay awake, Mina. You're not in the same world. Pitiful pantyhose girl. Your mind doesn't let you think about the future, but the heart wants to do the opposite. Mina seems to be struggling very intensely. I don't understand why she is doing this. Haha, I'm kidding. I'm being honest. He said it was not funny at all, Mina replied. Save Fang. I don't want things to get more stressful. I'm kidding. I thought my master was so handsome. Anyone who meets will love. It seems the tension has been saved. But now Mina suddenly confessed. Maybe, but I'm not human. Mina's voice was a little sad. This little cat girl fell in love with him. But because of the differences between species, I didn't allow you to say that. The feeling of jealousy. There must be no can. Today, she decided to say, out of my heart. Mina continues, I'm a beast. So far, there have been no nobles. Slightly hesitated his pitiful eyes. Mina said to take the beast. Save the wind now. To hear Mina say that is like opening the way. He spoke up. What about animals? Mina was quite surprised by Liu Feng's answer. Animals are very good. Just said. The wind was approaching Mina at the foot of the wall. This scene is very similar to the movies. And the next scene must be a bandit against the wall. Here raised Mina's chin and prepared a kiss. But wrong. That's the script in Korean movies. Put both hands on the wall. That faced Mina. The eyes looked drenched. I want to marry an animal wife. This is no different than confessing love. For so long, it has been seen as love. On the outside, Mina saw that the wind was getting closer and closer, and cried out, "What are you doing?" The exile bloomed a mischievous smile. The eyes of love on his handsome face. Said to Mina in an unprecedented sweetness, "I guess outside the forest. The night is stained with blood." Feet on a pool of blood. Baron Castor and his son stood in front of his men. The sand stroked his thick mustache and gave the order. "Very good. Who's got Liu Feng's head back here? You will be rewarded with 20 gold coins." The subordinates kneeling at their feet. He was excited to obey. Castor looked at the castle. To arouse hatred. He said the Baron pissed off the nobles. It's not a riot. It's fun. In this place, inside the owner's room of the Atlantic City, the candles are out. Mina came to the familiar bed. I put you down. Two people face to face, 4 eyes, staring at each other. After months together, through so much joy and sorrow and danger. Even if you don't say "Ra" as everyone feels what their heart wants to say. Love is getting bigger every time. It is also seen as a fruit. You two understood each other. We all want to take each other to the shore of happiness. Their eyes looked at each other deeply. Two hearts in harmony. Mina beats softly, calling. Missing Gia. Mina, I want to save the sweet wind to visit Mina. The eyes are closed. The breath almost merged into one. There's just a little bit of distance, and the lips will touch the lips. Mina's eyes met his master's. You've never been as close to me as you are right now. Mina, don't call me master anymore. Keep your head up. Put out your hand and touch your face for so long. I secretly love to remember. Sometimes it's even harder to touch Mina in the same house. To the sky. Today, you both admitted your feelings for each other. This private moment is spoilt for expression. This eye, these lips a little longer will belong to the wind. Is in the midst of A. The two were about to be together when suddenly there was a newspaper robbery. The master is not finished. A guard pushed open the door and ran for his life. My mouth doesn't stop talking. There's an enemy ambush. He didn't have time to finish. Suddenly, you have to see something you shouldn't see. Then the volume suddenly drops. In a small city. It's a very awkward situation right now. And Mina stood up. Mina was embarrassed to blush. She just pushed me out. I'll take the wolf squad and deal with it. Already said. Mina three-legged flight out of the room. The guard standing there only blames himself. Mom, what's going on? I didn't come at the right time. I'm just a small soldier who doesn't know anything. That's right. You can't know anything. But at least knock on the door before entering someone else's room. Maybe there's no culture of knocking on doors or SAO in this heterosexual world. Sitting on the bed. The wind is not over yet. Before the taste of love. He regretted telling himself Asiba. Just a little more. The guard heard. I thought the owner was talking to me. He was going to explain. But I don't know how to say it. That becomes the owner. Liu Feng looked up. Realized that the guard is still standing there bewildered. 4 eyes at each other for a moment. I suddenly remembered why he was here. Like returning to reality. The guard shouted at the guard. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and tell the cow. Yes, The soldier hurriedly ran away. Inside the forest, the dark night, only the moon's dim light led the way. A group of enemies are trying to break into the castle to take the wind back to Chocaster. They called each other to hurry up. Don't let anything good happen to the captain. Look, they're trying to make a big deal out of it. The enemies are walking and talking. I heard that the city has a female beast. A black-haired guy talking to a blonde guy walking behind. I heard that female animals are very wild, haha. The blonde says the wilder the better. A brunette at the head of the cartoon. The guys behind me laughed. They're talking about Mina, with profane words. Suddenly, the first brown-haired guy who was walking suddenly stopped. The kids keep joking. Why do you want a female animal like that? And then the brunette just had an hour. An arrow stuck in the middle of his heart. He died. The black-haired guy came after me, and he suddenly hit his name. He hurriedly drew his sword. Be careful there. It's not over yet. He turned around. I saw the blonde walking behind, just hugging her. That fall down. His blood splashed on the black-haired man's face. The black-haired man was terrified. I don't know what forces are hiding here. It was so cruel. Han looked around. The sword fluttered from the side. Mouth stammering. Who is who? Who's out here? He's waving his sword in the air. Just cut and cry. Come out here. His face is pitiful right now. And then suddenly a black shadow appeared in front of him. He just in time. I saw cats and went back to the ancestors. Dirty interracial. Mina said coldly. At another passage. Enemies are crossing the night. Darkness covers the forest. The space is very quiet. Just hear the insects rumbling. And the rustling footsteps. Under the dim moon. The forest's trees flutter down to the ground. The bizarre shapes. There's birds in the nest flying away. There's a feather falling down. Suspended in middle stitch. The captain held up his hand and motioned to stop. Then we all stood and watched. The captain's name changed. All mentally prepared. They drew their swords. Eyes glaring at night. Tension far ear, listening static. The quiet space is scary now. They're good at sniffing. Especially the captain's name. He smelled danger to warn his teammates. They are in Mina's sights. Still no movement. But look, they're still on alert. Mina decided to act. The sharp knife came down from above. Aim for the captain, but he's not the type. He defends pretty well. He turned to dodge Mina's knife. The knife stuck to the ground. And then suddenly, he swung up. The knife just fell down. Ken. Mina held up the sword from the captain's name. Pop back away. He is not a great warrior. The body is extremely sensitive. The captain saw Mina in a hurry. He had a sinister smile that finally appeared. Mina remained in a defensive position. Everything is quiet again. Only the wind blowing through the rustling leaves. The captain pointed to Mina and gave the order. Who's got this woman's head? You will be rewarded with 10 gold coins. Looks like he despises women too much. Mina is speaking now. I just rely on your trash. Girl, beautiful kitten with eyes that look like crystal. Give them a look of contempt. The officers take orders from the captain. Let's pick up the sword together. They shouted to kill. Suddenly, there's a loud noise. Not seeing people, just hear the knife slashing hard into the air. The long-haired guy hit a long knife in the back. He fell to the ground. Their mouths widened in wonder. A guy in a combat outfit appears. He stood up and introduced himself. Battalion Warrior Neo Etch honored. The enemy could only tell each other that it was an ambush. They're confused. Bewildered. We didn't have time to react. We just stood there looking at each other. Under the sudden appearance of the battle squadron that Mina led to, the warriors ambushed from the nooks and crannies. The trees in the forest are coming. Slash to the enemy. In the blink of an eye, Castor's men were lying dead. Only the captain stood like the sky. Mina came forward and put the sharp blade in front of her. The captain's name spoke. Do you have any last words to say? He looked at Mina for a moment, and suddenly smirked. In a quiet space, his laughter grew louder, echoing through the forest. Ha 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 ha. Mina was confused. He's dying, and he's laughing. He said now. It's exactly what Master Castor said. People who confess are stupid. He insulted Mina and then continued. Your master. It must have been solved by Master Castor by now. Or I will be your new master. He finished talking and laughed disgracefully. Mina heard that and was very confused in her heart. You don't hesitate. Turn around and run fast towards the castle. The young man is in danger. The girl galloped away in the dark. Suddenly, there's a fire. Fly over Mina's head, fall down the burning road. Boom, Matt. At Mina's feet were the oil spills. It's burning up, because the rocket had just been fired. The flames were burning around Mina. Make you stop. Your cats are afraid of fire. Mina today was trapped in the Kier fire. You must be terrified. The captain continued to fire his second arrow towards Mina. He had a wise smile. And he's late. The sound of 6 lumps on the floor echoed through the room. And Ellie sat around the table. Nicola's footsteps are walking back and forth. Her hands are tightly knit together, and she is worried. If they come into the city, what should they do? Ellie ate the candy and calmly replied. Don't worry. Mina has sent the wolf squad to deal with it. There is also the great bull to protect us. They can't get in. Watch out for this Eli girl. He's always very calm about everything. As the wind speaks again. Not according to your understanding of Castor. There's one more possibility. He spoke with the mystery of the tunnel. Suddenly, Eli's accusers rose. The girl heard something. The feet of many people. She told the wind. The wind still looks like that. 2 hands knitted together, smiling mysteriously. It's coming so fast. I stand up and give orders to Eli. Eli, go and tell the bulls. Eli quickly replied and quickly left the room. In this big room, only Nicola is left. The bewildered girl approaches the exile. Her finger touched his hand, she said softly. I lack that, and you. Generously speaking to you. Don't worry, just follow me. Nicola closed his head and reclined on the shoulder of the exile. This guy is the owner of a real diamond. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. The rats in the tunnel. Killed without mercy by Castor's army. Led by himself. The real father, said Jinfit. That boy must have been unexpected. This city again. There's an occultation inside. Green Fit said in a pleasant voice. This time he's dead. Baron Castor was adamant. Suddenly very aware, he stepped on a brick deliberately to loosen it. He was surprised that this was. Suddenly, an arrow pierced through the silk sand and crashed into the wall. My father was both surprised and confused. There's an organ. That son of a bitch has an organ. Green Fit, he shouted, what are you doing? Green Fix like a pony. He only gets a little power to call you. They say it's not wise to be young or healthy or old. Old Castor is like a long-lived fox. He always has a way of turning, deal with adverse circumstances for him. With great wisdom and experience, and the ability to wobble is redundant. Castor was silent for a moment, and then spoke up. Lotus Liu Feng soon knew this haunting. Moreover, he did not close the door. It's just small organ design. They obviously despise us. Castor said, his eyes glowed furiously. But then, he still has a solution to this situation. No. Green Fix looked at the soldiers on the floor. The great Castor. These soldiers are tied up with their backs to each other. They don't understand what's going on. I only know how to call for help. He looked at them with a cold expression and ordered. Pull them through to catch them all. The evil old man arrested 3 of his followers, tied together as a screen, moving them along the way to pick up arrows. Clear the way for them. These are the ones who can only cry so well. Fong Hu. 2 soldiers push 3 people tied up on the road. They shake their heads and cry, don't stop. Their feet stepped on. The right brick that activates the battlefield has been reserved and arranged. Hundreds of arrows coming out of the holes in the wall. Plugging Kyanba people tied up. Old man Castor stood second 01 little pity. His son Green Fit is younger. He was afraid to swallow the spittle. The men behind her face were as green as a leaf ship. Castor said, order to continue forward. End of the haunting, they kicked the door into the castle. The door came crashing down. Open up an empty room. He gave me 6 hands to control. Yes, I said. The people rushed into the search. And Nicola is hiding behind the closet door. I listened to every little thing I thought. Let me see what the hell you're going to do. Nicola is now nestled close to the chest of exile. The girl is not worried. I just feel my heart beating. This is the chest of what's so warm. Suddenly, there was a sound of footsteps approaching. A retainer of Gaster, standing in front of a closed closet, where the exile and Nicola are hiding. Stops in front of a closed closet door. Inside Nunla is hugging the wind. They also put their hands over you. Help the girl stay calm. No more fear. There's a howl outside. The guard's arm held Nicola tighter. The enemy raised his hand to open the door. Then there's a voice. Come over here. There's a noise by the window. The enemy turned away. Then he let go. Leave at the call of your friends. What did they find? Why did they say? Inside the cabinet, Nicola and the exile temporarily passed the danger. Nicola sighed. You think it's too dangerous. But not neat. The door opened wide at the hands of the enemy. Nunla panicked. He laughed arrogantly. Of course, it's said here.